What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
I don't have a complete understanding of all the groups currently under REG's umbrella, which is partly why situations like these arise, but initially, the Western nations didn't have such powerful gangs in the first place.
We've already escorted Gabbana inside.
Right, let's go.
With Arlicio appearing more tense than before, he led us into the building. We descended into the basement, which turned out to be remarkably opulent. The Apostles of Vert used to have an altar, but we had removed all that and transformed it into an audience room. Sir Rimuru desired an ambiance befitting a clandestine secret society, and we spared no expense in considering even the minutest details. This might even rival the chamber Sir Rimuru uses in Tempest to receive esteemed guests. As the overseer of the nation's finances, it's my responsibility to ensure we don't squander vast sums of money. However, as REG, we are a group of criminals, and we can utilize our ill-gotten wealth as we please.
And why are you so composed right now?
Arlicio asked, a touch of unease in his voice.
Well, who knows?
I replied. He clicked his tongue in response and uttered no further words as we descended 3 floors, finally arriving in front of a grand door.
Please, come in.
Vegan, from the Seven Blades. You're guarding the entrance.
Ha, Arlicio, huh? I used to hold you in high regard, you know. I even considered recommending you for a position in the Blades when we had an opening. What a damn fool.
What, Vegan? What did I?
Just get yourself inside.
Vegan glared at Arlecio's attendants.
And the rest of you, wait here. Only Arlicio and our guests are allowed in.
That was a prudent decision. It was best to limit the number of individuals aware that I was one of the bosses. I silently complied with Vegan's instructions.
Let's go.
Arlicio muttered as he entered, and we followed suit. Vegan joined us at the back, closing the door behind him. This door was enchanted, ensuring that no conversations leaked out of the room. Whatever occurred in here would remain unknown to those outside. Despite its deep location, the room was bathed in radiant light, emanating from numerous flickering candles. Sir Rimuru insisted on the candles, even though magic would have been more convenient. He believed that such extravagance added to the allure. There were no physical partitions in this underground space, making it more of a vast chamber than a room. It served well as an audience chamber, but typically only our top leaders were granted entry, those who knew my true identity. However, at present, more than half of the occupants in this chamber were unfamiliar to me. There were nearly 100 leaders present, and their gazes fixed upon me as I strode into the chamber.
Hey!
Arlicio called out to halt me, but I disregarded him. He attempted to place a hand on my shoulder, yet Vegan swiftly kicked it away even before Bid and Gobman could react. It seemed Vegan had been briefed about me when he was assigned door guard duty. The reaction from the unfamiliar management varied. Some displayed surprise, while others seemed perplexed. The leaders I recognized immediately dropped to one knee in reverence, and witnessing this must have made the truth dawn on the others, for they hastily followed suit.
No. Is Sir Myourmiles one of our bosses?
Don Gabbana's flustered exclamation reverberated through the silent chamber. Although we maintained a cool atmosphere down here, the vastness of the underground space lent his voice an echoing quality. Evidently, he had just been delivering a speech to some of the individuals present, individuals whom I knew well. Undoubtedly, he had been attempting to persuade them to kill me as a lesson, to demonstrate the 4 nations trade alliance's position in his eyes.
That's correct. The man you've been fervently urging us to eliminate throughout this entire time is one of our very own top leaders.
The response did not come from me but from a figure dressed in a striking, provocative attire. It was Glenda Atlee, an exceptionally skilled individual who acted as the REG boss in our stead. Her statement confirmed all my suspicions about Gabbana. It was amusing how it felt as though they were discussing someone else, not me. Don Gabbana, usually composed, could barely maintain his balance. He used to be a godlike figure to me, and seeing him in such a pitiful state was something I never thought I would witness.
Well done, Glenda. Thanks to you, our project is proceeding smoothly. The conference we held yesterday was a resounding success.
Thank you very much for your kind words, boss. If you could also take my merit into account.
Certainly. I'll reward you with double the usual.
Well, how generous of you. I appreciate your understanding.
Glenda guided me towards the platform that once housed the altar. There were 3 seats arranged in a row, and I took my place on one of them. After witnessing Glenda's reaction towards me, no one in the room expressed any doubts about me being their boss. That was the extent of their fear towards her, I suppose. And now, before my eyes, Don Gabbana and Arlicio were being restrained, prepared to face their destinies. One had openly expressed a desire to have a boss killed, while the other had treated me with utmost disrespect. It was now necessary to determine what should be done with them. The other leaders seemed to unanimously agree that both of them should receive the death penalty.
There is no other way to address this arrogance except through death.
And let's not be hasty in executing them. We should first subject them to a week of torture to teach any other disloyal members a lesson.
Yeah, it could be intriguing to offer them as a sacrifice to a demon. Alternatively, we could use their lifeless bodies to create a chimera.
Remember how enthusiastically that man described all the ways we could kill our own boss? Why don't we try those methods on him instead?
I must say, it was an utterly brutal conversation. Don Gabbana's face paled, and his breathing became erratic. I noticed a damp spot on his pants, but I pretended not to see it. Arlicio didn't look much better. Now that he realized his imminent fate, I was certain he was contemplating whether to resist. However, we had the most powerful underground leaders gathered in this room. If I had been alone, Arlicio could have easily dispatched me within seconds. But many of these leaders were formidable fighters in their own right. It would be impossible for him to overpower all of them. In fact, he stood no chance against Glenda alone. The chamber buzzed with enthusiasm as the leaders tried to outdo each other with new and inventive methods of torture. Meanwhile, I contemplated my next course of action while observing the dejected duo in front of me. To be honest, both of them had made significant mistakes, but I wouldn't consider them guilty of a crime. Acting tough and intimidating when a new organization encroaches on your territory is expected in the world of mobsters. Being openly defiant towards the leader of your group is problematic. But how could they have known it was me when my true identity was concealed? And while the attack on Bid was infuriating, it was resolved without any lasting consequences. Sir Rimuru was aware of the conference I had organized, and I was certain he had someone there to monitor the situation and prevent any serious incidents. In fact, several of Soei's troops were currently stationed in the room. If things were to escalate, I had confidence that any potential danger would be swiftly averted. Considering these factors, I began to think that imposing capital punishment on Don Gabbana and Arlicio was too extreme.
Order.
I hushed the room, having organized my thoughts.
They will not be punished. Gabbana is not a traitor to our organization. He simply didn't know I was the boss. If he betrays our trust in the future, that will be a different matter. But I am willing to overlook this specific incident.
Although I still harbored annoyance towards many things, I needed to exercise restraint. That was my decision, but not everyone agreed with it.
You're being too lenient. It would set a terrible precedent.
This statement was met with applause from many individuals.
Boss!
One of the extremists in the room spoke up.
Don't tell me you're inexperienced in this field. Because for lifelong members like us, maintaining dignity is more important than almost anything else. If you allow people to disrespect you like this, nobody will want to serve under you anymore.
Indeed, some members of the group were openly questioning my authority. While I didn't mind dissatisfaction with my decisions, I couldn't allow this to continue.
Whoever just spoke, step forward.
A young man took a bold step towards me, wearing a fearless expression on his face.
This is Yang from the Black Claws. We served together in the same mercenary army, and I can confirm that he's a stern, uncompromising man who never shows mercy to his enemies. He is also highly skilled, equivalent to a rank.
Gerard, the leader of the Apostles of Vert, provided me with this information. He had somehow positioned himself next to me in this gathering. He was a clever individual. I nodded at him and turned my attention to the man standing before me.
So, your name is Yang?
Yeah.
And you're calling me inexperienced?
Am I wrong? Because if you readily show mercy in this line of work.
You think I'm allowing people to take advantage of me?
Again, am I wrong?
Goodness. Does Yang realize the level of disdain he's displaying with each remark? Well, maybe he does. Perhaps he's using this opportunity to sow seeds of doubt in everyone's minds, paving the way for a future coup. They say that those without power can never thrive in the darkness, that you must consistently display your strength to prevent anyone from toppling you. However, I didn't want REG to become that kind of organization. I needed to swiftly explain the reality to him.
Who is taking advantage of me?
Huh?
I'm asking you, Yang, who could defeat me? Do you believe you could?
No.
Yang glanced at Glenda. I presumed it was she, not the Apostles of Vert, who had defeated the Black Claws.
You mentioned the importance of saving face. Shouldn't you take responsibility for addressing me with such contempt? Glenda, I retract my previous statement about your merit points.
Oh, come on.
Silence. It has become evident to me that Yang is not the only one among you who fails to show respect to your boss. None of you have the right to criticize Gabbana at all.
Don Gabbana and Arlicio looked surprised, and it triggered another realization in my mind. Were they being manipulated?
Glenda, you've been influencing their thoughts, haven't you? Setting things up in a way that someone would challenge me to gain an advantage?
Oh, you've noticed?
Indeed, I did notice, and you should consider yourself fortunate that it was me present here. If any of the other bosses were in my place, we would have encountered significant problems.
No problems at all. I have already discussed this matter with Lady Elmesia, and she advised me to proceed and keep it hidden from you.
Oh.
Big Mama's tendency to cause trouble could be quite bothersome. In the end, things were resolving well, but still.
Yang, I would love to meet the individual who dares to challenge me simply because I am letting Gabbana off the hook. This applies to all of you here. I won't demand that you stop contemplating overthrowing me, but be prepared for the consequences. I may be too weak to survive any attempts on my life, but let me make it clear. If I fall, REG falls with me.
I intended this as a clear warning, and Yang visibly trembled. He knew I wasn't boasting or bluffing, it was the unvarnished truth.
So, does this mean the other two bosses?
You don't need to know.
You said it. Why are you so eager to learn? People get killed for knowing too much.
Gerard and Glenda responded before I could, causing the other leaders to fall silent, sweat dripping down their brows. I decided to give them one final push.
Now, I will not bring Gabbana and his bodyguard to trial, and I assume none of you have any objections to this. Let me hear you.
No, sir.
They all bowed before me, demonstrating their loyalty.
Well, Yang, you should rejoice. I will let your insolence go this time, but you won't be given another chance.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I assure you, I will exert myself even more to show my gratitude.
You will? Good. That's the type of spirit I appreciate.
I smiled, feeling satisfied. I now had complete confidence in my control over REG, and based on this experience, I decided to establish a fundamental set of regulations for our organization. 1. Do not betray your comrades. 2. Show forgiveness towards the mistakes of others. 3. Do not harm or bring misfortune upon those weaker than you. These 3 principles should be sufficient. Betraying one's comrades would result in a sentence of death.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Stone Larone, Ray Perez, Donald Williams, Moab A, Day of Light, Zephyrath, Alver, Normal Defate, Joshua Andrade, L, Gary Miles, Foolish Prophets, Lamar. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.